Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it. Welcome, everybody, and welcome back to What's the 411 News. And for quite some time, for the next several days, we're going to show you guys what the real reparations movement is all about. Now, we showed you an example here when we reported on the Brooklyn Road to Reparations Convention or tour, and we also spoke about how in Atlanta they had their reparations convention, right? We talked about that as well, but we want to show you what a real reparations movement is all about, as well as the particular wording when it comes to talking about this reparations movement. All right, so you can definitely see the difference. All right, so welcome back again. Welcome back to What's the 411 News. And yeah, we're going to get right into it. Like I said, it's going to be a course of several days. We're going to go back to back to back to back and give y'all what the real reparations movement should look like and should sound like. All right. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. All right. So let's go.
We are here in Washington, D.C. to finish the work Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. started when he said, "Freedom! We are coming to get our check." Yup. Atlanta, where you at? I heard we had some people here from Chicago. What about LA? All right. I heard we had some folks here from Texas and also Florida, Connecticut, Maryland. What about VA? Welcome, peace, love, and reparations. First of all, let's give our black selves a black hand for showing up today. All right, y'all, peace, love, and reparations. We're so grateful to be here for our first FBA rally for reparations. So I just want to set the tone and the mood. We want to give thanks and praise to the Most High for bringing us out today, as well as our ancestors that shining down on us. Look at this beautiful weather. It is never this warm in DC in November ever. So we know that our mission and everything that we set out to do is blessed and highly favored. So we're really grateful for this experience. So we're coming to Washington, D.C. We are here in Washington, D.C. to finish the work that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. started when he said, "We're coming to get our checks from the government for breaking its promise of 40 acres and a mule." According to the Special Field Orders number 15 issued by General T. Sherman after the American Civil War, it's time for America to cut the check. Absolutely. We're also continuing the legacy of our living elder, Dr. Carl Anderson. Right? Let's clap it up for Dr. Carl Anderson. And also our ancestor who's shining down on us, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. Right? So, and many others who led the charge for our justice claim as well as helped us identify the system of racism, white supremacy. And so what we're here to do today is to discuss lineage-based reparations, right, for our ethnic group, right? So when we say Foundational Black American, it is not an organization, it's not a political club, it's not a political party. It refers to a lineage and an ethnicity. Our ancestors are owed a debt from chattel slavery in this country. Can I get an amen? All right, so we're all on the same page. And while we understand that there are other folks in the space who may be our brothers and sisters from across the diaspora, so we're grateful to have y'all here as well. Let's clap it up for them too. Thank you. Because we understand that white supremacy is a global prison system and it affects all of us. And what we're here talking about today is our lineage-based reparations in America because they owe us a debt. So I'm going to bring up several people and I'll be coming back on, but we're going to do some interviews. But before we get there, I want us to also get grounded in what we mean exactly as we're talking about reparations. Well, what is it, right? So our sister Camilla Moore brought to our attention that there's an international definition of reparations, and it consists of 5 pillars. So before you leave here today, I'm going to make sure we all know the 5 pillars of reparations and what is owed to us, how and why. So the first pillar is compensation. That's cash. Clap it up for some cash. Yep. The second pillar is restitution, right? We want restitution from things like stolen land, stolen labor, our intellectual property, all of our inventions that were stolen that our ancestors didn't get credit for, even some things that we may have created that we haven't gotten credit for. And also, Black Americans' cultural contributions to American society and really to the world. You see how they're trying to hijack hip-hop. They've hijacked the blues, jazz, and everything else. Those are our cultural creations. So that falls under number 2, which is restitution. Number 3, rehabilitation. That means free medical care, education, legal and trauma services, right? So that's rehabilitation, making us whole after we have been, done this atrocity to help us heal. That's number 3. Number 4 is satisfaction. So it's like symbolic forms of reparations such as a formal apology, the removal of Confederate statues, placing our own statues up. I want to see a statue up of Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. I want to see a statue up of Dr. Clark and so many other people, right? So that would fall under satisfaction. Those are symbolic gestures that, American can do to right their wrongs for our Ma'afa, our Black American Holocaust. All right? And number 5 is a guarantee of non-repetition. This is so important. We need policies such as like an anti-Black hate crime bill to hold people accountable, to make sure that these race soldiers don't continue to hurt us. We need to make sure that we're able to hold on to our civil rights and our God-given rights in this country so that slavery doesn't repeat itself. So that falls under number 5, guarantee of repetition. So I'm just going to read them off really quickly. The 5 pillars of reparations, according to international law. 1, compensation. Repeat after me. Compensation. 2, restitution. 3, rehabilitation. 4, satisfaction. And 5, guarantee of non-repetition. Clap it up for yourselves. All right, so.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it as we set it off for the reparations, the real reparations movement. And we're going to show you what it's all about, the wording, what they're talking about, the real reparations movement, not none of that nonsense that you've been seeing that we've been reporting on, or maybe you see me on my other podcast broadcast, excuse me. We showed you what the game plan, the reparations confusion tour that those other folks were doing. We showing you what the real reparations movement is all about. All right. So we just set it off from the beginning. Each day we're going to play another segment of each individual speaker. All right. So here was the first one. We're going to show you the next one coming up next. And yeah, so you're getting to see what the real reparations movement is really about. All right. Again, not none of this nonsense about the Afro descendants, not none of the nonsense where we reported here when the dude was saying all these names, Zuma Zumbubutu, and the Kumputu, and the Bukutu, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Y'all seen that report. There's none of that nonsense there. All right. This is the real reparations movement. You're going to get to see what it's really all about. and what the wording is, the language. She just went over. This is Lioness Crown. I'm gonna use her Twitter handle, Lioness Crown. All right. She just gave you the 5 pillars of reparations. All right. So make sure you write that down and take note. Okay. That's not the only, but that's the 5. All right. That's where we're going to get it. That's how we're going to set off this reparations. All right. So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all. And like I always say, no matter where you are around the world, you can always bet on the new black media. All right, this is Reparations Month. We're going to set it off with the Real Reparations Movement. This is part 1. Part 2's coming up next. All right, peace. Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it.